Hello, and welcome to the EVEEchoChamber. This is day 2 of my new player guide. This video will cover what to do after the tutorial, focusing on the advanced tutorial steps and encounters. I will teach you the New Bros gaming loop of read, skill, kill, loot, sell, repeat. Let's get started. The first step in that gameplay loop is read. We need to read the advanced tutorial. We need to understand what we need to do to reach the next level of the advanced tutorial, and try to maximize our efficiency when we do it. The screen we need to accomplish all this is the advanced tutorial screen. It's normally on the left side of your screen, but there's a box where if you uncheck it, it will disappear, and this is how you can get it back. I strongly encourage you to keep the box ticked so it stays on the left side of the screen, just in case you forget how to get it back. And now let's begin with step 1 of the loop. Read. This is the advanced tutorial page. In order to progress our tutorial, we must complete both of the necessary objectives and one of the optional objectives. Completing more than one of the optional tasks does not provide any extra benefit. The first of our necessary tasks is to increase our overall tech level. You will find that this is always one of the objectives. In order to increase our tech level, we must reach a certain threshold of total skill points, which can be viewed in the character skill sheet. More about that later, but for now, just make sure you have any skill in the skill queue, because your skill points increase at a faster rate when you have a skill training. When your skill queue is empty is when you gain free SP in the bottom of your character sheet, but you gain this at a slower rate than if you are actively training a skill. So to ensure we are always upgrading our tech level as quickly as possible, just always keep a skill in your queue. Doesn't matter what skill it is for the purposes of tech level. Our other necessary objective, however, does care about what skill we are training. Let's take a look at that now. This objective wants us to train 3 skills to level 3. So if I were to be training Frigate Command to level 4, this would contribute to our first objective, increasing our overall tech level by increasing our total number of skill points, but it would not be contributing to training 3 skills to level 3, our second necessary objective. So by carefully reading what the advanced tutorial actually wants us to do, you can make your skill training more efficient, raise your tech level faster, and get bigger and better ships more quickly. Congratulations on learning how to read. Now we go to step 2, skills, and I'll show you how I approach this problem. Okay, I pretty much covered all of that in step 1 actually. Let's move on to step 3, kill. For our optional objective in the advanced tutorial, I highly suggest that you all go for encounters. Encounters are the EVEEcho's equivalent of missions from EVE Online, and even if you want to do industry and business, I still suggest you start with encounters when you're doing the advanced tutorials in the beginning. Now to begin encounters and participating in the kill step of my new player guide, you need to click your character's face, go down to encounters, and you'll see this screen here. Now I suggest that you go to story first, and any of the factions you're interested in, click on their storyline nodes, and you'll see a list of news missions. Write down those news missions in a notebook, and make them your first priority when you're doing news missions. The reason being that the storyline missions have very good rewards, but you cannot attempt them until you've finished all of the news missions that they require. And if you have them all written down in a notebook, you can just cross them off as you do them, and you won't repeat any. When you click on news instead of story, the screen looks like this. You can see a list of missions. It shows their different distances, shows their different payouts, and if the mission is dangerous because it is in dangerous space or because it is too difficult, it has a warning as well. See, I'm about to choose this mission because I recognize it from the storyline mission that I showed you earlier. Well, I did run this mission when I was recording. This isn't a kill mission, so let's skip it for this video. If you don't see any encounters you want to try, or if you've recently moved to a new system very far away, you can hit the refresh button, and it'll give you a new list of missions based on your new location, but you can only do it once every 30 minutes. And here we finally have a suitable encounter to teach you how to kill. Let's get started. Running encounters in EVEEcho's is very simple, much simpler than running missions in EVE Online. Let's see what that looks like. After we hit accept, we go to the right side of the screen for the journal, click there, and then click the international symbol for chat to start chat with the agent. In EVEEcho's, autopilot does a lot of the heavy lifting, especially for courier missions, like the one that I cut out of the video earlier. After you start chat with the agent, you can read what they have to say, or not, and then the autopilot begins. Whenever I'm autopiloting through space, I like to open up the overview and switch over to the Cosmic Anomalies tab, because while I do think you should start with encounters, Cosmic Anomalies are very good to run too, especially scout sites and inquisitor sites if you find them, because they have materials that are very good for industry. The reason I don't recommend them for this video is because there's too many different factors for their difficulty. Their difficulty is influenced by their size, by their level, and by the security of the space that they are in. You can see in the top left corner that I'm in a 0.5 security system. This means that any site in this system would likely be too difficult for this Reaper noob ship. Now tap on that eyeball again and go to the Loot tab, for it is time for Step 4. Loot. Please don't forget Step 4. It's very embarrassing when you do. And while we are on the topic of loot, when you do attempt Inquisitor or Scout Cosmic Anomalies, remember to click the eyeball and change to the All tab after you kill the NPC enemies. This is because there is an object called a warp gate. They are called acceleration gates in EVE Online. You need to activate them in order to progress and get that valuable loot I mentioned earlier. It's funny and embarrassing to see other players warping away and letting me get that ISK because they don't know about warp gates. That number that just popped up was the bounty from killing that previous NPC, and as you can see here, not every ship drops loot. I don't think you need to see the rest of this mission. I think you get the idea of how to kill and loot. Now let's go to sell. Alright, we got an item here to sell, and I'll point out that the price the game says it's worth is not always realistic. You should always check the market to see what other players are selling it for, and base your price on that, as I'll show you in a bit. I was very surprised to see so many people online struggling with this. Yes, you can sell, even if you are an alpha account. You open up the market, and then in the bottom left, you click on Nearby Trade Centers. This is a list of all of the stations that alphas can sell at. They're spread out very well too. There are some in nullsec, some in lowsec, some in highsec. Click whichever one you want to go to, and set destination. And as per usual, click that little arrow on the left side and let autopilot do all the work. I do want to show you here though, that the options in this game are strictly for more secure or less secure. Sometimes choosing a less secure route will be longer than the more secure route, because it's preferring less secure systems, not preferring a shorter route even if it is more dangerous. And we have arrived. First thing, you have to move the item from your ship into the station before you can attempt to sell it. And as I stated when I was talking about the price earlier, I always like to view market details first, to see how valuable the item is to other players, to see what's in demand, and to see what is junk. I am no market expert, please get your EVE business advice elsewhere, but I do want to point out that the first guy, the guy in the same station, is trying to sell it for 50,000, while the other prices are much lower, so you can see that I set my own price. In my experience, if you try to set the price very high like 50,000, it will just never sell. If you set the price too low, it will sell immediately, but then you're wasting your time and money. Try to find the actual value of things before you sell them on the market. This concludes Step 5, Sell. Step 6, Repeat, is up to you. But now, I will give you a glimpse of the true endgame of EVEEchos and EVE Online. Thank you for watching. This has been the EVEEchoChamber. Fly safe and welcome to New Eden.